Cosmological Absurdities. Logic and reasoning is a completely useless tool when it comes to trying to explain our reality, which might seem counterintuitive to most skeptics. Hi, hi, son. Look. Came like 3 feet away from me to pick up that piece of bread. That doesn't make sense whatsoever. Another thing that doesn't make sense is the fact of every time I blink my eyes, there's actually a theoretical chance, although very, very small, of that when I open up my eyes again, I will find myself on a planet somewhere in the Sirius system. That's actually modern physics, more specifically quantum mechanics. Now, the most close example for me personally is computers, which are, by the very definition, the most logical thing we humans have ever created. This brain left hemisphere frontal cortex extension, in fact, that's what computers are, by the very definition of the term. Hence they are logical machines. So most people believe that when it comes to a computer, everything is logical. Well, the problem with logic is that if you pursue it far enough, then all logic breaks down. Let me illustrate with an example given to us through Moore's law, which is, you might, for a layman, define it as the bird is almost on my knee. You might almost define it as the law of increasing computational powers over time. Now, I'm not going to be further defining Moore's law besides from that. However, it's basically an exponential curve. If you extrapolate Moore's law 200 years into the future, then you can go to a Radio Shack 200 years from now. You can bring $1,000 and you can buy yourself a computer for $1,000. And with that computer, you will have enough computing powers to simulate every single elementary particle in the known universe. Paradoxically, Moore's law, hence, becomes a relatively accurate description of where we come from. You see, if you utilize a statistical analysis and scientific means to try to figure out where we are coming from the past, then if you go into the future utilizing Moore's law, then you will find that it is like 99.999% statistical chance of that we are living in a virtual reality, in a simulated computer, that the entire universe around us is actually nothing but a computer system, extremely advanced though. Now, if that actually is an accurate description of our reality, or not, I guess depends upon your perception of the importance of logic. However, realize that I utilized absolutely nothing besides logic to explain reality, with an approximately 100% accuracy in regards to what our reality is. And the paradox is that within that reality, which is extremely logically based, you might argue, everything makes sense. Angels, demons, UFOs, magic, miracles, absolutely everything is possible within the realms of that reality, which is based upon 100% logical descriptions of what we see. Simply because an angel might be nothing but the sysadmin creating an avatar in the system, the same way a 10-year-old boy plays a computer game. Flying makes absolutely sense within that reality. The same way flying makes sense for Mario in Super Mario Bros. And so on and so on. Everything goes, really. However, trying to use logic to understand our reality is a completely useless task. The reason is because you are a part of reality. So the task becomes that of a wheel trying to understand the whole Swiss watch it is a part of. Or maybe a better analogy becomes that of a single ant in an anthill trying to explain the anthill as a whole, which is by the very definition of the term impossible. And so on and so on. You see, you are trying to understand the system from inside of the system. If you wish to understand the system, then you must go outside of the system and look at it from the outside and in. That's just the definition of science, you might say. You cannot understand a system from inside of the system. Only from outside of the system you can truly actually understand the system. Simply because then you are no longer a part of it. So unless you somehow magically has the capacity to leave this universe and observe it from outside and in, then there's absolutely no way you can ever understand the universe you are living within. These are the premises of logic and philosophy and science and so on and so on. And that creates the cosmological absurdities, which is that a grain of sand tries to understand the earth it is a part of. Which means that every time you try to logically explain something, to convince others about that you are right, then you're wrong.